Alrighty. Hi everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Um, let's see, we've got the to-do list here. Um, I'm trying a couple new things with my lighting setup. I'm not sure how it's gonna work in the evening because I'm relying on daylight from my window. But, yeah, I'm just gonna respond to a couple things in the chat. Sorry you missed the bus, that's rough. So anyway, I'm just gonna jump right in with this one. I was refining the sketch, but I'm just gonna jump into the line art since I think I adequately fixed the problem. Um, the modeling app that I use doesn't really allow for as much variation in height as I use when drawing these characters. So I've just gotta keep in mind that if I build a scene for these guys in that app, that I have some adjusting to do on their heights before I finish it up. Um, but that's to be expected when you have 3 base models and only 2 of them work with your art style. Not that it's a bad app, it's just maybe not the best one I could have picked for my need. But, you know, c'est la vie. So we've got our OCs meeting Wally, as you guys could see in the to-do list. I need to figure out how to just overlay the to-do list. Then again, if I replace the face cam with the to-do list, that might be a better idea. What do you guys think? I think that might be a little bit better. But in the meantime, once I get done with this drawing, we've got some other ones that should be very nice. Let's see. There's just a lot that I'm still getting used to with the new setup. For one thing, I'm wearing an entire face full of makeup. And it takes a surprising amount of makeup to make it look like you're not wearing any. But that really shouldn't be surprising, since I find that the hardest thing to do is make it look like you're not doing anything. So, like, uh, like, you know how it's really hard with sleight of hand to make it look like you're not doing anything, but actually you're moving stuff around where people can't see it. That's what I'm thinking about. So, yeah, it's a little weird. I'm not quite used to wearing to wearing up. But maybe I'll get used to it, or maybe I'll find something else to do. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm really not sure what to talk about, but after I get done the line art, which should take a good while, I'll see what's going on in the chat and maybe respond to you guys. Cool stuff to say or something. Played a little bit more Kingdom Hearts today before the stream and all. My brother had to help me out in Atlantica because he's good at moving along the Z-axis and I am not. He's good at moving along Z-axis. So we had a good time playing through that. I beat Halloween Town yesterday, I believe it was. Um, and that was fun, and I'm not sure what to say. I mean, basically everything's fun is what everything I was saying was boiling down to. But whatever. This um I'm not really sure how I feel about using the modeling app more. On one hand, it does give me a base for characters when I don't really have their look pre-planned too much. Um, like later on, I have some South Park OCs that someone asked me to draw in my style, and my style and South Park's style are really it takes a lot of work to translate something from South Park's style to mine. So, um, so it did give me a way to work around that with those two characters. But I feel like with characters that I'm already used to drawing in my style, only um it's only useful for conceptualizing the scene and figuring out where everybody is, if that makes any sense. Um that's another thing I keep meaning to do. I need to put googly eyes up by my webcam so that I know how to make eye contact with you guys through the camera. Um, because I keep looking at the mirror, which is what I do because it's like I'm making eye contact with myself and it helps me think. But that's not where I need to look to talk to you guys. So one of these days I've got to get a package of googly eyes and just glue a couple of them or tape them or maybe put them on a paper clip and then clip them over to my webcam so that I can make eye contact with you guys properly. Uh, hmm. But you guys will probably know when I do that, mainly because I won't be able to shut up about it. um, let's see. Yeah, I was trying to do a refined sketch while my brother was playing in Atlantica, but that just didn't end up working out. Um, Still, we're excited to get through the entire game pack that I downloaded. It was a nice $50. I don't regret spending it. So far I think it's been worth it. But um hmm. So far I've been getting more use out of the $50 I spent on Kingdom Hearts than I have out of the $14 I spent on Amazon Prime, but that's because I never do online shopping. I've been doing more recently, but not enough to really justify the Prime membership. So I'll be canceling that, most likely. Um, let's see, today is Pi Day. Stephen Hawking has passed on. That was a little bit jarring to read, but not necessarily completely unexpected, if I may be so callous. I really liked reading his works on stuff. He had a very nice, well, I used to read some of his works in physics, at least what the local library had back when I was an overconfident little kid and I thought I could understand it. Um, yeah, he was pretty cool. It's gonna be interesting. Without any more interviews and stuff with him. Let's see. We give Chase a nice wide smile. I think I've got hair stuck in my lipstick. If you guys can't see it, it doesn't really matter. Actually, I think I'm just gonna hurry up and see what's going on in the chat. Hi! Cool. Glad to see you're here, Dino. Glad to see you're here too, Drew. Y'all can probably hear my cat asking to be let in. I can't let her in. Because she's been very snuggly today, and that's not something you can really... That's not something I like to take for granted, because even though she's always snuggly, you know, she's an old cat. So I try to snuggle her whenever she wants. She's kind of spoiled, I guess, that way. But I can't let her in because I can't let her snuggle and draw at the same time. So I'll let her in after the stream. What? I have no idea what to talk about. I guess I could talk about the Musical May challenge that Sir Kunamut has come up with. It's a typical month-long challenge. You pick anywhere from 10 to 31 songs, and then you make as many drawings for the month of May, using those songs as inspiration. And I've got my playlist picked out if you want to listen to it as background, or better yet, you can mute me and just listen to the playlist, and you don't have to, and that way you don't have to put up with all my ahs and ums. So that might be fun. I ended up erasing a lot here. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be tracing as much from this Pose app as I did. In the future, I don't think I'm gonna be tracing as much as I did this time. You know what they say, there aren't really any shortcuts. I don't necessarily believe that there are no shortcuts, full stop, but I think that finding your own shortcuts, what's a shortcut for one person may not be a shortcut for another person. So there aren't really any universal shortcuts, but what is a shortcut for you is you've got to figure out for yourself, and I don't think this has been a shortcut for me. I think it's given me a lot of unnecessary trouble. So I will not be tracing, at least not the poses for these characters from now on. I don't know, maybe I should comment to the devs and ask in the next version if they can upload like a 4th height class for the models, because that would allow for a little more customization. I imagine it would be easier for them to implement a fourth height class, compared to letting you scale things. Because letting you scale things would require implementing an entirely new function, where just implementing a fourth height class would give you a little more variety to work with. If that makes any sense. I don't really know anything about app development, but if somebody here does that actually make sense, or am I full of hot air? Let's see. Go, and then just like that. And I'm just gonna skip adding the seams. I don't really want to add his hand there, I'm just gonna... It would look weird because of the way that I've had to adjust him from the original drawing. I don't regret, however, using the grid in the screenshot I took while I was posing these characters as a guide for my 2-point perspective, because it made it so much easier to figure out where everything in the hallway should be. Let's see, we've got Claire here. There we go. And then she's looking down at the little robot. Everybody looks really wall-eyed in this. Definitely not my best sketch work. One, two, three, 4, 7. Go. 6. So obviously she has 7 links in her braids. I have tried to keep my own personal model sheet, character guide things for these characters, but it only works out in some cases. The braids are probably the most successful example, but other than that, they go off model pretty often. This would be a really good example of them going off model. The anatomy in the program I use is incredibly stylized. It's mostly just a standard anime look, but that's not quite what I was going for with this. So again, I'm probably just gonna need to use it as a very rough guide. It does help though for poses that I can't find at certain angles. Because a lot of the time there are limitations that make it really hard to produce stock photos with some poses at some angles. And just posing things in a 3D environment is a nice workaround for that. So I'm not writing it off completely. I'm just saying that there are some caveats to be had. And again, if you can recommend any other 3D posing programs, I will be happy to check some of them out, especially if they're free, or at least the base functionality can be accessed for free. With this one, the base functionality is very easy to use for free, but if you want to have more than one model, you have to upgrade to the Pro version. And so far I'm happy with it. It was expensive for a phone app, about $5, but I'm not completely disappointed with it either. Let's see, why is my... I don't know why. I was talking so much earlier while my brother and I were playing Kingdom Hearts, and now that I'm sitting down to stream, now my throat's starting to hurt. I don't know what it is about that. Let's... Jason, of course, has his jacket sleeves here. Let's see. I have a Patreon now. I haven't quite gotten into the swing of using it yet, but I am planning to make all of my request stream sketches free. And then for just $1, you can access all of my finished pieces as soon as they're done, instead of whenever they're scheduled to come out. I personally like it like that because it's really... I don't like sticking to a schedule. It feels very restricting. It's like an old turtleneck or something. But of course, when you're putting stuff out online, schedules are so very, very necessary, because I tend to be a binge creator where I'll make 10 or 20 things in the space of about a week, and then I'll have basically the rest of the month where I'm only making 1 or 2 things a week. So scheduling lets me do that without exhausting an audience or stringing them along. But I still like to post things as soon as they're done, because I like to show them off as soon as they're done. So Patreon will just... Patreon should be a nice compromise. I've already got next week's speed paint ready to go. Or, not next week's speed... this week's speed paint up. And you guys can check it out there if you want to become a patron. If not, I totally understand. And I was laughing just there. I feel like... I don't know. I wish I could monitor my voice through this, but then that would give me a feedback loop, and it would be like talking with a speech jammer. Let's see. But I am excited about my Patreon, so I hope it works out. But even if it doesn't, it still gives me a place to post things, and that way I can just kind of say, okay, I posted it there, now it'll be easier to wait. So, yeah. Talk about... I feel like I've got another strand of hair stuck in my lipstick. That's probably the worst thing about wearing makeup is it feels heavy, if that makes any sense, to anyone who doesn't or hasn't worn makeup. And I'm not sure whether the heavy feeling is just my sensory processing or if it's actually what makeup feels like to everyone and I'm just a wimp. Could be both. But in any case, I feel like I'm taking way too long with this. I might have to... Yeah, we are almost 30 minutes into the stream, and I haven't even actually drawn Wall-E. So, I'm just gonna not rush too much, but I think for the background, I'm not gonna do the background I originally planned. I'm just gonna put blobs vaguely in my perspective lines. And hopefully that will work. I'm also not going to go past flat color. Aurora, I am so sorry about your face here. Definitely not my best drawing of her face. It doesn't help that the model is a really... it doesn't help that I didn't tweak the model to give it a little bit more life in its pose. I'm pretty sure I only used the default pose here. Which, again, is a mistake I will not be making in the future, hopefully. Alright. Go. And she's got her shoulder here. Arm here. And her other shoulder here, I think. I don't know, it's hard to see with my sketch because I accidentally sketched the perspective lines on the same layer. Let's see, she's gesturing at the robot. I had dialogue planned for this, because you'll notice I formatted it kind of like a screenshot, but I forgot to copy and paste the dialogue in, so I'm probably just gonna leave it the way it is. Sweater. Alright, I think I can call that done for them. Now to actually draw Wall-E himself. And the more I work on this, the more I think that this might be the only drawing I do this afternoon. Just because I think I got a little too ambitious with it. Either that or I'm just not drawing fast enough. Let's see. Since Wall-E is pretty beat up, I decided not to use my snap guides while drawing him. I'd just give him the straightest lines I can do freehand. which may or may not work out. I'm not sure whether he has a ball joint or a series of hinge joints there, but I'm drawing it like a series of hinge joints. Just because those are easier for me. And yeah, got this hand thing. I think that's what that looks like anyway. And then he's got these treads here on rollers. I think that's what they're called. Go. I'm just gonna call it acceptable for now. And then let me open up one of my WALL-E. Let's see. I could have sworn he had his name written across his side, but I'm not really 100% sure on that. I'm just gonna write it anyway. There we go. So let's see what's going on in the chat. I have been enjoying Kingdom Hearts a lot. If you want to do, yeah, it is interesting that Stephen Hawking died on Pi Day. Let's see. Thank you. I haven't seen Black Panther yet, but my mom really wants to take us to see it, and we're looking forward to that. Oh, by the way, if anyone wants to see the picture that I used, or the screenshot that I took as a reference, this was all done on my mobile phone, which I think is pretty cool. Not gonna lie. But yeah, it's a pretty powerful program for a mobile app. Anyway, I'm gonna delete that and use it for flat colors. My throat's making sounds now. Maybe I should not have had dairy for breakfast. Let's, like, I've read that dairy is something that voice actors tend to avoid if they have a thing that they're acting in, that day, or if they've got a recording session. Apparently it does things to your voice. Let's see. I'm also technically lactose intolerant, but they make lactase pills, so I can get around it. Like, it's pretty interesting to lawyer your way. I know lawyer is kind of the wrong way. I guess science your way around minor food allergies. Let's see. Invert that selection. Because I have found that even though I am lactose intolerant, aged cheese doesn't bother me, and if I take a lactase pill, I don't even have to worry about anything else. So I'm just gonna hit Protect Alpha here. Ugh, got another hair sticking to my stick. Like, this lipstick is almost exactly the same shade as my actual lips, so it's weird looking at myself in the mirror because I feel like my lips should look really weird, but then they don't. Alright, now we can color this. I'm just gonna pick one color for everyone's jeans. Except Chase's, because he's... Or no, wait. Never mind, I can't give everyone's same color, because we have a few characters who are wearing black jeans. So never mind that. I don't know why I keep forgetting that, I don't know why I keep forgetting not everybody wears the same color pants. I mean, not everybody wears the same color pants in real life either, so it's whatever. Wait, is Anne wearing black pants here? Oh well, for now I'll just color in what I know she's wearing is black. And of course Chase is wearing his black jacket. Dylan is wearing black pants, but I don't think I drew those. Alright. So now we've got a bunch of characters wearing red, if I can zoom in properly. No, this is... That's not a knife. This is a knife. Has anyone seen Draw with Jazza's Australian Bob Ross video? If you haven't, it's funny. There's a point where he says, "Now we'll take our palette knife," and then he pulls out a regular palette knife, and he says, "Wait, this isn't a palette knife," and then he takes out a giant hunting knife and says, "This is a palette knife," and proceeds to paint with it. And that was pretty funny. Crocodile Dundee was a good movie, and I still have that double feature. Maybe I'll watch it later. Let's see. Blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die. I've been listening to a lot of Europop from like the mid-2000s lately. I have no idea why, it's just... All of my favorite music is foreign and from the mid-2000s. Oh well, there could be worse things, I guess. See, her shirt is black. Her headphones, too. So I'm gonna check the chat and see if Aqua told me what Anne's pants are. Oh, come on. Wow, yeah, this is looking like it's the only drawing I'm gonna... Looks like this is the only drawing I'm gonna do. I'll see your sketch later in Discord, too. I don't even know what to say. Now it's like I've got too many things to say. And, not enough braining to make the words go. I'm just changing the denim color since I don't really like it, but Aurora's sweater can stay the same color. I believe her shoes are black. No, Chase's are brown. It would help if I actually pulled up, hold on, darkness, sending. Huh. It's not. I must have deleted my other stuff. That's probably it. Can't believe this picture is how old now? But um, you know, that's just how the passage of time works. No? So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to other pieces while I was working on this today. I had some big plans, but probably in between streams I'm gonna do some more work on the other requests just so that they get done faster. And I can make up for my lack of productivity. Let's see. Go. Okay. Talk about, this was back before I knew that Chase and Dylan heterochromia, wasn't it? If I still had the original MDP file, I could change it, but I don't, so I can't. Come on. Alright, you know what? I'll just take the pen here. And my tablet is pivoting again. Guess that's what I get for spending all my time doing my makeup instead of adequate prepping. Let's see. Go. Red sleeve there. And paler skin than his brother. Go. I must have picked the wrong color. You know what? There. Keyboard shortcuts. I really want to get an additional USB keyboard to plug in below here because my keyboard is or my computer, because I'm using my laptop webcam, is set up so that I can't well, it's built into the computer screen as most webcams are. And I can't actually, or the framing. Okay, if I just pick a sentence and say it, that is too saturated. There we go. That looks more like Claire now. So in order to frame my face cam properly, I can't easily reach my keyboard shortcuts the way I would like to. So eventually I'm thinking about getting an additional keyboard that I can plug in at the bottom so I can reach my shortcuts the right way. That's all fringe goals though. Since the shortcuts thing is more of a minor annoyance. Alright. Good. There we go. And then Aurora, I did not start drawing her until after this piece was done. So I'm just gonna add her here. A lot of her coloring is the same as Dylan's because I was being lazy with her design. But I don't know. If I knew just how much I was gonna draw these characters when I started drawing these characters, I wouldn't have been so lazy with them. But, you know, you live and you learn. It's Jason, and he's got this dark chestnut brown hair. Alright, come on, just... There we go. Let's see, so I heard Sword Art Online is getting a live-action remake movie thingy. What do you guys think of that? I've heard some good things about the writer who's taking on the American adaptation, but I'm not, like, I'm hoping that if this writer is as good as everybody says she is, that she'll be able to fix a lot of the problems I have with the Japanese show. And I don't even dislike Sword Art Online in the it's cool to dislike something popular way. I dislike it because it legitimately has a lot of problems. And I say that as someone who used to like the show. I'm gonna have to pull up another reference for which eye is which. In the meantime, let's just fill in everyone else's eyes and teeth. But yeah, Sword Art Online, live action American adaptation. What do you guys think? I hope it turns out nicely. I don't really hope too many projects fail. You know, and who knows, if the American Sword Art Online version turns out well, it might be good news for American adaptations of anime in general. Which would be cool because, could you imagine if we got, like, the anime equivalent of, like, Iron Man in terms of quality? I mean, I remember there was a long time when comic book movies really be a thing because nobody took them seriously. But, you know, if comic book movies could get Spider-Man and Iron Man and blow up into the thing they are now, it could be cool if the next big trend was anime. And if Sword Art Online is what kickstarts that, well, hey, I'm not gonna complain. but I would like to hear your thoughts on it, and I will check the chat to read your thoughts as soon as I finish coloring this. That needs to be brighter. Alright, there we go. I believe thing in color is blue, and then she has the green ties on her braids. And Aurora has brown eyes, I think. At least I've been coloring her eyes brown this whole time. Yeah. Alright. Jason has blue eyes. And I have no problem reusing colors wherever possible. So. That. And then I'm just going to do my comics folder and pick out one of my incorrect quotes pages, since those have their eyes colored in the right way. Alright. So, I didn't want to rotate this. Let's see. Wrong layer. Build a layer. Wrong layer! Alright, and then, if I'm not mistaken, it's the opposite for Chase's eye. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then he's got green eye. And then I can just use this color. Hazel. Well, no, that's too golden, I guess. Yeah. That looks a little bit better. And that was bothering me. So now let's fill in Wally. He's kind of yellow. It would help if I hit Protect Alpha here. Does Alpha need protecting? I mean, he's got the entire team of Power Rangers. Let me open up my Wally reference. That's not what I wanted to do. Come on. Scroll down. No. Alright. And then I can fill in his treads that way. And then the rollers this way. Alright, and then since we have 5 minutes left, I'm going to see what's going on in the chat, and then I will do some perspective blobs. Okay. Yeah, I'm willing to give the live action movie a chance. Just because even though I may not like the anime, that doesn't necessarily mean the movie can't be good. Especially, like, I've heard that the writer for this is the writer who worked on who wrote Altered Carbon. And I'm not sure, I heard about a few different adaptations. in the video where I found out that this was happening. But, see, background color. Axiom is very gray and very clean and very polished. So, let's... That was the wrong button to hit. What even is everything doing? Come on. Here we go. There we go. I'll just block in some basic shadows. It would help if everything would stop lagging so much, but sometimes that just happens, especially when you're working really big canvas sizes and everything. So I'm going and just leave shadows by the floor. And then use that. That. And this would have been a great exercise in perspective if I had had enough time to really see it through. And I'm just going to little shadows by every panel. There we go. And then on a new layer, I'm just going to use this one. I'm going to add some lights. If I can drag my hand in a straight line, that is. That's one of the things that's kind of weird when everyone tells me that they can't draw a straight line. You know that person who's like, I can't draw a straight line, or I can't draw a stick figure, is that straight lines are actually really hard to draw. You know, it's not necessarily that you're bad at drawing, it's that you've picked a very complicated thing to use as your reference for what good drawing is. And that is a very easy way to get yourself convinced you can't do anything. Alright, I think I'm gonna call that done. And we are at 2:59, so I'm just gonna save this. And maybe I'll go in and dash in some highlights since we have a minute left. And just make that smaller, bring up the opacity a lot. Wrong thing. Go. Oh, I'm just gonna then I'm gonna go in, clean up the edges around these guys, even though it's about time I signed off already. I just... It's bothering me just a little bit here. Alright, let's see how that looks. A little bit better. Yeah, that is nowhere near as before. So, with that, I think I can finally actually sign off. So, thank you guys for tuning in. I will post this, and then I will be back later for this evening's stream. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!